Let's talk about farming. Not just the idyllic image of golden fields and red barns, but the real, gritty business of it. The early mornings, the long hours, and the constant uncertainty that comes with relying on the land. It's a high-stakes gamble. Every season, farmers bet everything on the weather, the soil, and the hope that their hard work will pay off. Their livelihoods ride on tiny seeds, and every decision can mean the difference between profit and loss. Now, imagine waking up to news that your country's leader has started a trade war with your biggest customer. Suddenly, the rules of the game change overnight, and the future you've planned for is thrown into chaos. That's exactly what happened when the Trump administration imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, aiming to protect American industries from foreign competition. The move was bold, intended to level the playing field and bring manufacturing jobs back home. But trade wars are never one-sided. China, in response, struck back with tariffs of their own, targeting what would hurt the most: American soybeans. For years, China had been the largest buyer of U.S. soybeans, a crucial market for American farmers. Almost overnight, U.S. farmers lost their top international buyer. Silos that once emptied quickly after harvest now sat full, with unsold crops piling up and nowhere to go. Years of building relationships and reliable markets vanished in a flash, leaving farmers stranded and uncertain about their future. This wasn't just a policy debate happening in Washington. It was a crisis unfolding in small towns and rural communities across America. Families gathered around kitchen tables, trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Farmers plan their entire year around the expectation that there will be a market for their crops. They take out loans, invest in equipment, and put everything on the line, trusting that their hard work will be rewarded. But when that market disappears because of a distant political decision, the entire business model cracks. Farms that have been in families for generations suddenly face foreclosure, and the sense of security evaporates. The trade war, meant to put America first, ended up putting American farmers in jeopardy. The very people it was supposed to protect became some of its biggest casualties. And this isn't the first time. History shows us that cycles of tariffs and retaliation have played out before, each time leaving farmers caught in the crossfire, forced to adapt to forces far beyond their control. The administration called it short-term pain for long-term gain, but for farmers, the pain was immediate, and the promised gain felt distant, almost unreachable. Bills piled up, and hope grew thin. They're stuck in the middle, watching profits evaporate, and waiting for a resolution that never seems to come. Every day brings new uncertainty, and the stress takes its toll on families and entire communities. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're the one who grew it, nurtured it, and watched it go to waste. The sense of pride in feeding the world is replaced by anxiety and frustration. This is the reality of the trade war. Farmers as pawns in a global chess match, their livelihoods moved around the board by decisions made far away, and the stakes couldn't be higher. For these farmers, it's not just about economics, it's about survival, legacy, and the future of rural America. Now, let's zoom in on the epicenter of a crisis that's quietly shaking the heartland of America: soybean farmers. In Ohio, soybeans aren't just a crop. They're the backbone of the state's rural economy, supporting more than 26,000 families and countless local businesses. For generations, these fields have provided stability, jobs, and a sense of purpose to entire communities. For decades, China was their biggest customer, buying up millions of tons of soybeans every year, until, suddenly, it wasn't. Practically overnight, a relationship that had taken years to build was severed, leaving farmers in shock. Since May 2024, China has stopped buying U.S. soybeans, wiping out over half the market overnight. The impact was immediate and devastating, as contracts were canceled and shipments halted. The result? A massive surplus of unsold beans piling up in silos, plunging prices to record lows, and a gaping hole in farm incomes that many families depend on to survive. Brazil and Argentina quickly stepped in to fill the gap, offering cheaper soybeans and reshaping global trade. Their rapid response left American farmers with few options and even fewer buyers. For Ohio's 26,000 soybean farmers, this isn't just business, it's about survival. Every decision now carries the weight of uncertainty, as families wonder if they'll be able to plant next season or keep their farms at all. Multi-generational farms, some in the same family, for over a century, now face the real risk of shutting down. The legacy of hard work and resilience is under threat like never before. The stress is crushing. These farmers did everything right, invested in their land, adopted new technologies, and built relationships abroad, but lost their biggest asset, access to the global market. The pain ripples out far beyond the fields. With less money coming in, farmers cut back on equipment, local businesses lose customers, and jobs disappear. Rural towns that once thrived are now struggling to survive. The $7.5 billion soybean industry is reeling, and so are the communities that depend on it. Schools, hospitals, and local services all feel the strain as tax revenues fall. This isn't just about beans and prices, it's about the slow erosion of rural America, where every closed business and abandoned home tells a story of loss. The trade war's impact is personal, and it's everywhere, etched into the faces of farmers, echoed in empty town squares, and felt in the uncertain future of America's heartland. When your biggest buyer vanishes, supply soars and prices crash. Soybean prices dropped from $11.20 to under $10 per bushel, a huge loss at scale. Meanwhile, costs for fertilizer, seeds, and equipment keep climbing. Farmers are squeezed, shrinking income, rising expenses, and mounting debt. This isn't a natural disaster. It's a man-made crisis, triggered by policy. Many farmers feel this is different from past hardships. It's uniquely punishing. With razor-thin margins, they can't invest in the future. They're stuck in survival mode. The financial strain is pushing family farms to the brink. The government's answer? Bailouts, checks to offset the damage caused by its own tariffs. Billions in aid were handed out, but it's a cycle. Impose tariffs, hurt farmers, then offer relief. Farmers, proud of their independence, now rely on government checks just to stay afloat. The aid is slow, uncertain, and never enough to replace lost markets. What farmers really need isn't a bailout, it's stability and open markets. Politicians point fingers. Some blame inflation, others blame tariffs. The administration says rising costs are the real problem, not trade policy. But many farmers and experts see a direct line tariffs led to China's exit, and the market collapsed. For them, it's not complicated. Trade policy caused the crisis. While the debate rages, farmers just want the pain to end. Bailouts sound good, but they rarely cover the real losses. Aid is often too little, too late, and distributed unevenly. Flat payments don't reflect the diversity of farm needs. Some get overpaid, others left behind. Delays mean farmers can't pay bills or plan for the next season. The consensus: bailouts are a bandage, not a cure. Farmers want to earn a living, not depend on government checks. Only open, reliable markets can restore real stability. Ask any farmer what they want. It's not a check, it's a customer. American agriculture is built on global trade. Farmers grow for the world. When trade wars close markets, the whole system falters. Stability lets farmers invest, plan, and grow. Trade wars bring uncertainty, surpluses, and collapsing prices. Bailouts can't replace the security of open markets. The real solution is diplomacy, negotiating strong, stable trade relationships. American agriculture thrives when it can compete globally. Restrictive policies kneecap the industry and threaten its future. The best support for farmers is a trade policy that keeps markets open. The real danger isn't just today's losses. It's the long-term damage that could reshape the future of American agriculture. While droughts and trade disputes make headlines, the deeper threat is the erosion of trust and stability that American farmers have relied on for generations. When the U.S. loses trust as a supplier, buyers like China don't just wait. They actively seek out new partners to ensure their own food security and economic stability. Brazil and Argentina, once considered secondary players, are now entrenched as reliable sources for key crops. Their growing infrastructure and expanding farmlands make them increasingly attractive to global buyers. Even if the trade war ends tomorrow, regaining lost markets is a steep uphill battle. Relationships and supply chains built over years can't be rebuilt overnight, and buyers may hesitate to return. America's reputation as a stable trading partner is wounded, and that damage lingers long after tariffs are lifted or policies change. The risk is a slow, painful decline in U.S. agricultural dominance and rural prosperity, as communities struggle to adapt to shrinking opportunities and uncertain futures. Meanwhile, other countries are building new alliances and forging stronger trade routes, while the U.S. remains caught up in tariff battles and political disputes. The result could be a weaker, more isolated farm sector, with fewer resources and less influence on the global stage. This isn't just about this year's harvest. It's about the future of rural America, the livelihoods of families, and the survival of small towns that depend on agriculture. The question remains, are short-term political wins truly worth risking generations of progress, stability, and the legacy of America's heartland? October 4th, 2025. American agriculture stands at a crossroads. One path continues the cycle of tariffs, bailouts, and lost markets, leaving farmers in crisis. The other path is diplomacy and open trade, letting farmers thrive on their own merits. The choice will define the future of family farms and rural communities. Farmers know. Prosperity comes from stable markets, not government checks. The real solution is smarter trade policy, not bigger bailouts. By prioritizing open markets, American farmers can lead the world in feeding it. That's a future worth fighting for.